Hey, Ski, how you
What's
doing?
up with it, Dave? Mr. Ronson, how you doing, man? Salute, man. Everybody, this is Mr. Dave Ronson, the king. SB 1200 King. Nothing but love,
You're too
man.
kind, Ski.
Nothing but love, man. Nothing but love, man. We love you, bro. We love you. How your day going over
Cool.
there?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm out and around. As you can see, I'm sitting in my car connecting with you.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Yes, sir.
that's just um, it's a crazy life I lead.
Man, you
Um, because I love what I'm doing.
hey, you a genius, man. I've been talking to my fans and everybody that's on here. If y'all don't know, this is Dave Ronson, the genius that brought us to SB 1200, and now the new Ronson SB 1200. And I have been telling them how great it sound. Like the way the machines sound is probably the best that I've heard that's out. Right now. Period. That's out. And I'm just amazed because a lot of people act like we can't achieve this, but you have achieved it, and you've done it at a high standard, as same as pretty much as this as the older one. And I just find that to be really amazing that you have still have the same passion for your machine like you've had when you first started in it. You know what I mean? Can you just speak on
Yeah,
that a little bit?
sure. Well, as I said, I love what I'm doing. I love designing instruments. I get such a thrill out of uh, the music folks make with them because I'm not a musician, so I don't know how to play the darn things.
Right.
I that's 50 years ago when I started on this path. That was what was driving me is the mystery for me of the making of music, and yet having a chance to participate in it with my technical skills and my ears and all that kind of stuff. So that continues to today. I've got the work with Rossum Electro, and I also work at Universal Audio on their stuff, and design chips with Sound Semiconductor. And all
Mm.
of that is just letting me pursue my passion in so many different ways.
I mean, how do you like? I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, to be this many years in it and you're still able to dig, like, because you could have let the new technology and all this stuff kind of sway you into a whole nother direction. You really kind of stuck with the format, of what you've done with your machine, which I find that to be impressive because when I've got the Ross machine and I just know that it still feels like the other one, you could have did all kinds of different things, but you stayed with the blueprint. What made you stay with that blueprint?
Well, when we first started up Rossum Electro, we were getting, a couple emails a week from folks saying, redo the SP 1200. I wanted, and, they weren't clear on exactly what they wanted. And neither was I. I knew from day one of Rossum Electro, we were going to do something with the SP 1200. But the hard part of any instrument is figuring out what the heck to do. And once you know the plan, once it all fits together, and at least in my heart, feels like an instrument that has its stuff together, then the designing is in some ways the easy part, at least for me. Um,
Right,
but
right.
so with the 1200, uh, there was just that certain point when I realized that uh, what was needed, and really what the first step should be in my getting back and contributing into the this field, and particularly I think the whole hip hop movement is just great, and just being the small part that I am is just it's a big reward for my life because it's a world that uh, from my childhood is so alien to it, and yet here I am a part and helping out folks like you and all your friends and fans and fellow hip hop rap musicians. I just think that's so cool. Anyway, so to get back to answer your question, um, what we did was I realized that the first thing I needed to do was reproduce that instrument and prove my bona fides that I really can't still have it together, can make that classic sound, and power the folks that you can. And it worked. We did our best. The technology is marked on, and there's new requirements, safety requirements, and so on. So we had to redesign some of the instrument of that. But the idea was just to make it as close as possible to that original instrument. And I think we've done that. Um, and to tell you the truth, having done that, now my question is, what's next? And I've got ideas. I'm working, and you'll be one of the folks that I'm consulting with when I've got some things to ask. I'll be out poking around and asking a few questions as to what people thinks might be there. Anyway, so that's where
I
we are.
mean,
The SP 1200 is out there because it was the first thing to do, and I really felt it was the right thing to do.
Mr. Rossum, man, listen, I'm smiling because it's very rare you find somebody that's pioneered what you pioneered and have stayed with the foundation and made something even greater. Like you've stepped it to a whole nother level. And I have to be impressive to still have that drive and still have that type of passion, and I know, but I'm letting the fans know because I had got a chance to come down to the studio to the facility, and I watched the work facility and I was blown away. I was like, oh my goodness, everything, everybody was working to make everything just amazing. How you were showing me all the transistors, the capacitors, you were showing me everything just to the science. And I was just like, this man loves what he does.
It's the truth, yeah, and it's production. I mean, one of the things about production is you can't just let it go. You got to keep an eye on it all the time, and particularly in this crazy world we live in,
Right,
there's always problems. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm running around today. Is
right.
got to clean up a little issue today.
You know,
So
a lot of people we had tossed around the idea, you know what I'm saying? And it's just something to just think about have you ever thought about making like a mini version of the SP 1200? Have you ever thought about it or considered that?
yeah, it's certainly something I can do. It gets costed down and so on. Uh, from my heart, I'd like to do more rather than just shrinking down. I'm not the kind of guy that just loves to cost reduce. But if what happens with me is, I get an idea like that, and if I can then fit it all together like I said, the instrument has to just hang together as a whole. Um, and so absolutely, you know I have some pretty clever ways to keep that SP sound um, uh, and go to a lower cost, so people who can't afford the high end instruments. Um, it's not my first love, but I recognize how important it is, and we did it at EMU as well. We had our lower end products and higher end products, but
Yeah.
so that's certainly a direction I'd love to go at some point. But it's got to hang together so that I'm going to love making it, and it's got to be right for the market too. So
But for sure, definitely, it definitely has to be right for the market. And like I said, you're a perfectionist, so whatever that goes into it has to make total sense, and it still can't compromise the integrity of the brand and the product that we so love so much.
right.
Because that's where it can get real tricky at is that you do something like that and it just takes away from you know the value of what we love of the SP 1200. So I totally
Mhm.
understand it. It has to be done right and thought out right.
Yeah, yeah.
I totally get it. I totally get it. I want you to tell the story you was telling me. Remember, because I was saying, man, when I got my Ronson, I was like, man, this is dope. I said, man, if you got 20, man, you could have did 30 or 40. So you tell them the story about the whole 20 seconds because when you told me it blew my mind. I was like, oh, that makes sense. So tell the story about the whole how we got to this 20 seconds now, but how it really was done.
So as I said, the decision we made, and it just felt right, was to go back and make the bona fide original SP 1200, rather than changing the design, and making it different and hopefully better. But we decided to go for the bona fide design, and then we asked ourselves, what improvements can we make legitimately to this original vintage instrument. And things like, adding an extra op amp so you get a balanced output, putting it in the metal container so that we meet all the FCC requirements easily and so on, and it feels really, really good. We had to redesign the play button because they were no longer available, so we had to design that custom for us. But one of the things when looking at the design, back actually in the SP12, when we went from the Drumulator, which was of course all ROM, into the SP series, we put in both ROM and RAM into the original SP12. And it was expensive memory and the chips were huge. But when I did the original design, that original SP12 was 2.5 or 5 seconds, if I remember correctly, were the two amount of times that you could buy for that unit. But that original design, I had ideas of going out and actually quadrupling that 5 to 20. So the sound engine of the SP12 has all the pieces to 20 seconds. So when I decided to redo the SP 1200 reissue, why not? Since now memory is cheap. In fact, it was hard to get memory that small these
Right,
days.
right, right,
To
right,
actually go ahead and go to the original design criterion for that sound engine that I designed for the SP12 of 20 seconds. So that's where the 20 seconds came out. You're right. I could have completely redesigned the thing and put in minutes or even hours
right,
of
right.
recording time, things like we do in the assimilator in the Rossum Electro
Yeah,
Eurorack module. But
yeah.
sticking with the original design, I can now say, yes, this is still that original vintage design. I've just fleshed it out the way I had intended to back in 1984, 85.
Yeah, man. I mean, you did your thing, man. I'm super impressed, man, and I'm definitely honored, for us to have built our brotherhood and the things that that we're possibly putting together. There's a possibility of the special edition, limited edition. Maybe we could talk a little bit about that, a little bit of some of the ideas we had.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned me a little while ago about, was there a possibility of doing a limited special edition, specifically for you? And
Yeah,
I'm excited about the idea. There's always stuff that's got to be worked out. So I'm never going to, announce anything or say that I can do it until all the pieces are in place. But
for
I'm
sure.
excited about the idea of you know an instrument that carries with it a special artist. And what I love about the idea, Ski, is that this is an opportunity maybe for getting folks that aren't already in love with the SP12, SP1200 sound, getting them, because of your fame as an artist, to know that that this is an instrument for them. So teaming up that way, it excites me. So there's a lot of details in doing something like that, but you and I will work together on that, and
Yes,
I've got
sir.
every hope that we can do something that's going to work out, and
Yes, sir.
hopefully your fans will just love this.
I think they will, man. We've been talking about it a little bit, and I've been running it
Mhm.
by them a little bit, and man, they're excited, man. Now, we talked about a little bit something else. If you want to, disclose that a little bit about how we might be going about, the payment situation. You want to talk about that a
Yeah,
little bit?
yeah. I really, again, until that becomes real, I can't talk about that. But
Okay.
sure would love to. Yeah, we're going to work on making whatever we do as accessible as we can, and
Yep.
those are ideas. So no
Yeah, we got a
specifics
lot.
there.
We got.
Just your fans need to know. We want them to have these instruments as much as they want to have them. I guess that's the way to put it.
Right.
So.
No, definitely, definitely. And one more thing, man, what I'm saying, because I just want to get you on here and let the people know that, what I'm saying, that we've been talking about you a little bit, and I wanted them to see and hear out of your mouth, everything that you were saying. And one of the things that you were saying is about how you never imagined the speeding up of the machine, how we
Oh
sped it up.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You were commenting on that.
yeah. That was one of those, because people ask me all the time. I mean, when we got together, you were pumping me with these questions, and the fundamental question people ask me is, did I have any idea how people will use my instruments? And the answer is, uh, of course, as I design things, I'm thinking about use cases. I'm always, I'm all ears trying to make sure that the sounds are things that I think people are going to get excited with, that they're going to have enough tools to go after the sounds. Um, but uh, to be honest, the whole hip hop world took me completely by surprise.
I
And
bet.
then, and then,
Bet.
then in specifics, the uh, ingenuity, the brilliance, and oh, did we lose
I
something
got
here?
stuck. A call came in. Just keep it going. Go ahead. A call
Okay,
came in. It
okay,
froze me up.
yeah.
It froze me up.
So anyway, as I was saying, the tricks that the hip hop folks started doing with my instruments were just out there. They were so smart and so brilliant, and something I never thought of, and specifically the ones where people were taking the records and slowing them down so that they could record them into the 10 seconds of sounds in the SP 1200, and then pitch shifting them back up in the SP 1200, and that created a whole new sound
Right.
for that was appropriate to that music.
Right.
I just thought that was so brilliant,
Man.
and I never would
Man.
have thought of it. And again, this is what I love about what I do is I produce tools for musicians, and then they do things that I never would have dreamed of with them, stuff like that.
Right.
And hey, that means we're participating together. It's just a great thing.
Man, well, I appreciate you so much. I don't want to take up even more of your time because I appreciate the time you've given me. I know you got a lot of stuff going on with some of the packages and stuff, but I thank you so much. And we will be talking. I just wanted to introduce you to the fans. They're a fan of the product, and we're gonna do some major stuff, man. We're gonna definitely put some great stuff together.
Yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to working together, and as always, I'm so blessed in my life that I get to do something that is my passion, that I love. And thank you to all you musicians and fans for your support, because that's what makes it great for me. So, love to all of you, and thanks for having the show, Ski.
Man, thank you, Mr. Russell. Thank you. Thank y'all, everybody, man. We're gonna tune out, man. Thank you, and I'll talk to you later. I'll call you later, Dave.
Okay, you take care. So
Thank you.
long.
All right.
Bye bye.